Hello and welcome to UGC NET Literature Concepts, Poetic Devices and Forms Cluster Series. I am Kannan Prasad and today we are going to explore essential literary terms that have appeared in previous UGC NET exams. Our first term is allegory. Notice how it's pronounced with the emphasis on the first syllable, allegory. This term appeared in the June 2014 UGC NET examination and falls under our Poetic Devices and Forms cluster. Let's break down allegory a bit further. The word comes from the Greek term allegoria, meaning speaking otherwise or veiled language. In medieval literature, allegories were extremely popular as a way to teach complex religious and moral concepts to a largely illiterate population. Throughout literary history, allegories have been used to address controversial political and social issues in a disguised form, allowing writers to express criticism without direct confrontation with authorities. An allegory is a story, poem, or picture in which characters and events represent abstract ideas or moral qualities. It's essentially a narrative that functions on two levels: the literal story and its symbolic meaning. Allegories often teach moral or political lessons. What distinguishes allegory from symbolism is its sustained nature. The entire narrative serves as an extended metaphor where most elements correspond to specific meanings outside the text. In UGC NET terms, you should remember that allegories are intentional and systematic with consistent symbolic relationships throughout the work. Let's explore some classic allegories that have appeared in UGC NET questions. First, George Orwell's Animal Farm. On the surface, it's a story about animals taking over a farm from their human owner. But the deeper level represents the Russian Revolution and the rise of Soviet communism. The characters directly correspond to historical figures. For an example, Napoleon the Pig represents Stalin, Snowball represents Trotsky, and Mr. Jones represents Tsar Nicholas II. The entire narrative serves as a cautionary tale about revolution and totalitarianism. Another significant allegory is John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress, written in 1678. This religious allegory follows the protagonist, aptly named Christian, on his journey from the city of destruction to the celestial city. Each character and location represents aspects of Christian faith and moral challenges. The Slough of Despond represents depression and despair, while the character Mr. Worldly Wise Man represents secular values that distract from spiritual growth. Plato's allegory of the cave is also frequently referenced in UGC NET. In this philosophical allegory, prisoners chained in a cave see only shadows projected on a wall and mistake these for reality. It represents humanity's limited perception of truth and the philosopher's role in seeking deeper understanding. In Indian literature, Vishnu Sarma's Panchatantra uses animal fables as political allegories to teach principles of statecraft and ethics. Now let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Which of these works is an allegory? John Keats' Ode to a Nightingale or John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress? Take a moment to think about it. If you had answered that B is the right answer, you are absolutely right. The Pilgrim's Progress, like mentioned before, is a classic allegory where the character Christian's journey represents the spiritual journey of a believer from sin to salvation. Keats' Ode to a Nightingale, while profound, is a lyric poem expressing the poet's emotion rather than an allegory with symbolic characters. Remember, allegories use concrete characters and events to represent abstract ideas. For your UGC NET exam, be prepared to identify allegories, explain their symbolic significance, and recognize major allegorical works across different literary traditions. In our next video, we'll explore more of concepts in this cluster series. Thank you very much for watching.